Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about electoral reforms, and this is the last part of this chapter, election and representation. Okay, so we'll start with electoral reforms. Reforms means changes, a good change, when you are doing something better or something good for your society or something else. That is called reform. So in an election system also, we can say that no system of election can ever be perfect. No one is perfect, you know that, right? As a human being or in a government or in every sector, wherever you will see, nothing is perfect. So there should be some changes in order to make it perfect. And in actual election process, there are bound to be many flaws and limitation. Flaws means mistakes and limitations also. Okay, so in India we have accepted adult suffrage. What is adult suffrage? Adult suffrage means above 18 years of age, everyone is capable of voting, every individual. Okay, so with the acceptance of adult suffrage, freedom to contest election, and the establishment of independent election commission, India has tried to make its election process free and fair. Like I have already explained to you this, that the election system should be free and fair. If the election is not free and fair, then we cannot say that particular election was held in a democratic country. In a democratic country, election should be free and fair. Okay, no one can control election commission, or no one can control our election system. If the election has been controlled by some powerful parties or some government or some people, then that election we cannot say that is a democratic election. Now, in order to make some electoral reforms, there were several proposals have been given, or people have, or the parties or the government, many scholars, they also have come up with proposals for electoral reforms. Okay, some of the suggestions, what were those suggestions, what were those points, we will explain now. First of all, our system, the India's election system, like we have explained in our previous classes, that we follow FPTP system as an election system, but some of the scholars have discussed that we should apply some parts of PR system also, proportional representative also, so that this would ensure that parties get seats as far as possible in proportion to the votes they get, so that maximum parties will get seats. Because in India, because in this FPTP system, people basically vote for the candidate and not for the parties. Okay, then there should be a special provision to ensure that at least 1/3 women are elected to the parliament and assemblies. Now, women should also get equal representation. Women should also get chances. So some are saying that 1/3 of the women should be elected to the parliament and assemblies. Another point, there should be strict provision to control the role of money in electoral politics. The elections expenses should be paid by the government out of a special fund. So when a person, when that candidate is contesting for an election, that time he or she used to spend a lot of money for election campaign, for meetings, for assemblies and all. And some of the scholars or some of people, parties, they are saying that these expenses should be paid by the government itself through a special fund. Next point, candidate with any criminal case should be barred from contesting election even if their appeal is pending before a court. Now, the person who has been imprisoned or whose case is following up in a court, that person should be removed from contesting an election. He should not get the right to contest the election, though he hasn't proved guilty. But also, if the case has been pending, then also he should not be given chance for contesting election. Next point, there should be complete ban on the issue of caste and religious appeals in the campaign. Now, sometimes the candidate used to ask for vote for according to the caste, religion, like if there were Hindu community or the Hindu person who is contesting election, he can ask for the vote on the basis of Hinduism, like Muslim also on the basis of Muslim community, but that should be banned because India is a secular country. Okay, we cannot use our religion or our caste in the campaigning of election. Next, there should be a law to regulate the functioning of the political parties and to ensure that they function in a transparent and democratic manner. Now, the political parties, if a person is contesting an election, he or she should be from a proper political party, right? So when the political they are appearing from political parties, that political party should be transparent. Transparent means it should be clear, their thoughts, their ideas, everything should be clear to the common people. They cannot hide anything from the common people. Okay, and in a democratic society, when there is a democracy, then the person should be, or the parties should be, their ideas, whatever they are following, that should be transparent. So these are the points which has been given as a reference, or people were saying, or the scholars have given these ideas, these suggestions in order to have an electoral reform, in order to change our reform. But these are but a few suggestions. There is no consensus about this suggestion. Consensus means agreement. There is no such agreement on these points. Okay, even if there was a consensus, there are limit to what the laws and formal provisions can do. Free and fair election can be held only if the candidates, the parties, and those involved in the election process agreed to abide by the spirit of democratic competition. So, in order to have electoral reform, in order to have changes for good, then there should be a democratic competition. There shouldn't be like the parties are hiding something, or the candidate they are hiding something, or whoever is involved in that election process, they are hiding something from the common people. That shouldn't be. We cannot call them as a reform. So, if these suggestion has been implemented in our constitution, then also there should be certain limits. Okay, now apart from these legal reforms, all these points which we have discussed earlier, these points are legal reforms. Okay, now apart from this legal reform, one point is that the people, the common people means us, we the common people have to be more vigilant, more actively involved in the political activities. We as a common people have to be actively participate in the political activities, but there are also certain limits to the extent which ordinary people can engage in politics on a regular basis. It's not possible for every common people to participate in every political affair. So there should be also limit, but we have to be a little bit alert, right, as a common people, because we are giving them chance to be our representatives. So we have to be little bit alert also as a common people. So this, we have completed this chapter, election and representation. I will give you some notes also from this chapter. This is the last part, and let's see in our next class we'll start our new chapter, but let's see from which book, whether this book or from the political theory. Okay, till then, take care.